So in this question, I need to find the equation of a circle given three coordinates which lie on the circle. Now, equation of a circle, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals r squared, where r is the radius of the circle and a and b, they're the coordinates of the centre of the circle. Now, my coordinates here could be these three, for example. Now, what I'm going to do is substitute values of x and y into an equation and then hopefully get a system of equations which I can solve. You could substitute them in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a form of this equation expanded out and set it equal to 0 and set up from there. So this is what I'm going to use. So multiplying this out, I would get an x squared term, a y squared term, then a constant multiplied by x, which I'm going to use as d. Same for the y, which I use as e. And then a and b squared and an r squared brought over to this side. Mixed together, I'm going to call that my constant f. And set that equal to 0. And then with that, I'll set up my equations using these three coordinates. So I'm going to get three equations to work with. So, -3, -4. Let's work on that one first. So x is -3, y is -4. So that's my x and y. So let's substitute them in there. So -3 squared is 9. Let's write that there. Y squared is 16. Dx, well, x is -3, so that's -3d. Y is -4, so -4y. So I'm sorry, -4e plus f equals 0. So that's the first one. Now what I want to do here now, instead of leaving it in this format, take these constants over to this side and set up an equation with three unknowns. If I've got three unknowns and three inequations, I've got a chance of solving it. So -3d minus 4e plus f equals, bring these across, I'll have -25. Let's do the same with the second one, 3, 6. So if I've got 3, 6, that's my x and my y. Using this, so I'll have 3 squared, which is 9. 6 squared is 36. X is 3, so I'll have 3d. Y is 6, so plus 6y. Sorry, 6e. Keep saying y, should be e. 6e, and then my f as before. So plus f equals 0. Again, bring my constants over to the other side. So I'll have 3d plus 6e plus f equals 45. Bring to the side, -45. All sorted. This one, -920. Let's go for that. -920. So again, that's my x and y's. Simply sub them in. So -9 squared, 81. 20 squared is 400. X is -9, so I've got -9d. Y is 20, so I've got 20e. Keep my f as before and set it to 0. Sum these up, bring them over the other side as before. So now I've got -9d plus 20e plus f equals -481. And that's going to be my three equations that I need to work with to get to my solutions. So now what can I do? Is there anything I can do to try and solve from here? Well, I've got a -3d and a 3d. So if I add these two equations together, I can eliminate d and get an equation with two variables. Let's see where that takes me. So -3d minus 4e plus f equals -25. 3d plus 6e plus f equals -45. Okay, right, that's looking good. So I've got this one here. If I add them together, that will disappear the d's, and I'll be left with two variables unknown in one equation. So -4e plus 6e gives me 2e. F and f is 2f. And -45 minus 25 added together is -70. Okay, well, I can divide through by 2, that would be legitimate. So e plus f equals -35. Okay, Now, wouldn't it be good if I could get my f isolated and end up with a term for f that doesn't include f, then put in here? Then I'll have three equations with two unknowns, and then I'll have a good chance of solving it. So to isolate the f here, minus 35, bring the e across, that's minus e. So I'm going to substitute that into this one for my f. So let's do that. Okay, so now all that's gone. I've got this and I've got these three here as if by magic. So now where I've got an f, I'm going to substitute in minus 35 minus e and see where that takes me with these three equations. So that f there, I can change that. Minus 3d minus 4e minus 35 minus e equals minus 25. And now let's get this simplified. So I've got minus 3d minus 4e minus e is minus 5e. Then I've got minus 35 and a minus 25. Bring that across. That would be plus 35. So then I'll end up with 10. So that's a good start for that one. To do the same here. So 3d plus 6e. F again, minus 35 minus e. And then that equals minus 45. Again, let's get it simplified like we did here. So 3d plus, now minus an e off that, just give me 5e. So I've got 3d plus 5e minus 35 over to this side. That's going to give me minus 10. Okay, that's taken care of. Now let's do this one. Substituting again. Minus 9d plus 20e minus 35 minus e equals minus 481. Okay, let's do the simplification and just put it here. Minus 9d plus 20e minus an e, that's plus 19e. And what does that equal? 481 minus plus 35. So that's minus 446. Okay, right. Let's take these off the board and let's work with these. Okay, right. Let's look what we've got here. Well, these two equations look like the same equations, just multiplied by minus 1. So what I'm going to do now is combine this equation with this equation and see if I can get my d and my e extracted from that by using simultaneous equations, two variables, two unknowns. So minus 3d minus 5e equals 10. This one, minus 9d plus 19e equals minus 446. Okay, right. So from there, let's treble this one. So now I've got minus 9d minus 15e equals 30. Okay, let's leave that one on its own up there. And now with these, if I add them, I'm going to get minus 9d minus 9d. That's going to give me minus 18d. So I need to subtract them. So now let's subtract them. Minus 9d plus 9d, they're gone. 19e minus minus 15e gives me 34e. And then minus 446 minus 30 is minus 476. Okay, divide both sides by 34. So E, 34s, well 34 times 10 is 340. 4 34s are 136, so that is just going to be minus 14. So there's my first constant, E is minus 14. So let's write that there. Okay, now from that I can substitute into one of these and get my D. So let's just choose this first one. So minus 3d minus 5 times minus 14, that's my E, equals 10. So minus 3d minus 5 times minus 14 is 70. So plus 70 equals 10. Subtract the 70, minus 3d equals 10 minus 70 is minus 60. So therefore D equals 20. Divided through by minus 20, D equals, divided by through by minus 3, get D equals 20. So that would take care of the D variable. So D equals 20. So that's that. All I need to do now is calculate my F. Well, I can just substitute into there. So for F equals minus 35 minus E. E is minus 14. F equals minus 35 minus 14. Minus 35 plus 14 is minus 21. So that's my three variables. So let's write that here. F equals minus 21. Okay, now I've got that. Let's substitute in here and get it into this format. Okay, right. Where I see D, E and F, I'm just going to substitute into here. So now I've got x squared plus y squared. D is 20. E is minus 14. And then F is minus 21, and that equals 0. Okay, get the x's next to each other and the y's next to each other. And then I've got plus y squared minus 14y. And I'm going to bring my 21 across the other side, starting to build my term for my radius. Okay, right, let's turn these into this format individually. So x plus 20. So half the 20 is 10. So x plus 10 squared. Now I'll have to subtract minus 10 squared. So therefore, minus 10 squared there. That way then I keep my x plus 20x, x squared plus 20x. Same here. So plus y minus half of 14 is 7. And then subtract 7 squared. And that equals 21. Okay, right, now we're nearly there. So got x plus 10 squared. Move these two across together. So now I've got plus y minus 7 squared. 10 squared is 100. 7 squared is 49. So that's 149. As it's minus, remember it's minus 10 squared, not as in the minus inside the brackets as we did earlier. So that's minus 149. Bring it on the other side, it's plus. So that's going to give me 170. So therefore, that's my equation of my circle. Radius. So radius is square root of 170. So that's going to be just above 13. And then my centre. So as I had it here, the centre of my circle is at minus 10, 7. So x is minus 10, y is 7 for the centre of my circle. And that's everything finished. And I'll put up a graph of this circle plugged into Desmos and you can have a look at that. Okay.